All right, now we're going to get another check on how things are looking in the Matagorda Bay area. It's an area that is expected to get hit really hard by Beryl. That's where we find KPRC-2's Gage Goulding for us this morning. Gage, I see you're inside, you're in shelter now. Tell us how bad it's gotten.
You know, I really thought we were going to make it through this thing, if not the whole way with power, but literally 5 minutes ago, we just lost power here. It probably flickered about 24 times before we got to the point where we're at now. So we're running on just the conserved energy that we have. But one thing I want to tell you, we are up on a house that's on stilts, so we're elevated a little bit. But I want to show you just how much this home is shaking. No one's touching anything. Hands are right here. No magic show. You can just see this plant here, and we put a glass of water as well on the table to kind of give you an idea of just how forceful this wind is. At the last measurement, I want to note this, our anemometer here, this is a little device that we've been showing you throughout the day. It measures wind speed. We measured 93.9 miles per hour, a gust, and then put it out again to get another reading, and it just came back and said high. So we maxed out this anemometer, which I'm assuming is in and around 100 miles an hour. Now that's a gust, but I can tell you right now, it is gusting outside. There's another good example over here. This is just a light that we're using. You can just see it shaking back and forth as the entire house shakes here. And kind of an eerie thought to think about as well is, underneath us, there's actually storm surge flowing from the Gulf of Mexico, from the Bay. Gulf of Mexico's this way. The Bay is behind us, and water just flowing into the Colorado River. So we can't really get a good view outside to see how much storm surge there is. We do have a high water vehicle outside. That's our ride out tomorrow, knock on wood. So we're not sure exactly how high the water is. Not safe. If you are in an area getting storm surge, man, please, please, please stay inside. Do it for your family, do it for your friends, do it for your loved ones. It is not worth it. You do not know how strong that water is moving. It's wind driven. And the biggest thing is you don't know what's in that water. There could be sewage, there could be creatures, there could be downed live electrical lines. Man, we are getting a big burst. I don't know if you guys can hear that back there. Just the wind howling outside.
Yeah,
like I said, you can just see that.
We can hear it, Gage. Yep.
And that's off this microphone right here. So that just, I'm a pretty loud person. But look at this window here. Look at the blinds just shaking. And there is, unfortunately, some water coming in through this window here. But this is it. All the wind is pushing in this way right here. It's just beating up and beating up and beating up. So this part, look at the blankets on this little rack here, just just shaking in the wind. It's a nerve-wracking feeling. This is the reason why you evacuate if you do not have a safe structure to stay in, and if you do, this is the reason why you get out, because it's safer. And if something were to happen, God forbid, in a medical emergency, this is not safe. Nobody can come to help. So that's the biggest reason why you need to evacuate. This is just a blaring example of that. But yeah, it is howling out there. It's just impressive, You have to appreciate Mother Nature in that aspect, because it is so impressive how strong and how just vigorous and angry these storms can be. And what's really interesting, I'm not sure if Anthony's still there or could field the question. I'm not sure. I'm kind of putting you on the spot, Anthony. I was listening to you say that the eye or the landfall should be here relatively soon. Do you know, is this an area that we could potentially see that little moment of bliss, of just pure quietness, or is this not that kind of storm?
No, it is. You have an eye that's a certain size, about, let's see, 10 miles wide in each direction, and so you're going to have a certain amount of time where it's going to be nice and calm. You may even be able to see, well, probably not because of the time of night it is, but you're going to have a nice calm for a while. It's going to get worse right when the eye wall moves through, and then you'll get a calm, and then when the other side of the eye wall moves through, it'll get rough again. But you will get a little bliss. It's, one of the, after looking back later when you realize the danger you went through, it is a neat thing to realize I have been through an eye of a hurricane.
Yeah, and Gage, we are, we feel for you, because I can tell it's just an uneasy feeling, and there's a lot of families that are choosing to stick it out just like you. And I will ask you this, Gage, at what point when you were outside did you say, you know what, it's just too bad to be out here in these elements, we got to get inside? At what point did you have that feeling?
You know, I think this entire time, and Anthony and I had a couple conversations throughout the day of, you know, safety and are we in the right spot? Is this a safe spot? But whenever we got that reading of 100-mile-an-hour gust, you know, we were filming as that happened, and I kind of looked at it and I was like, that's a really high number. Let me put it back out there and see, is that correct? Are we going to get higher gusts? And that was kind of the moment where we realized that, you know, we need to be safe and get inside, because shortly thereafter, all of that, and at that point we were up on the second floor deck, and this is, you know, 12 feet up or so. But that's the moment we realized. And another question, I'm sure if people are in this situation and you're listening, whether it's over the radio or over online, we still have good cell service out here, or if you have generators and you're watching on television or on the live stream, you know, one of the big questions I know I have, and maybe these people could have, is, you know, Anthony, when you say it's going to get worse before you get into that eye wall and then it's going to get rough again, you know, after that eye wall passes, does it get just as bad as that, you know, worse before the eye wall, or does it get a little bit easier when it picks back up, or is there, after the eye wall, the worst is yet to come?
No, the outer, that front leading edge of the eye wall on the right-hand side is the strongest part. So once you get that back side of the eye wall, it's strong, but it's not as strong. So really, the strength that you saw or you're going to see with the eye wall, that's as strong as it's going to get. And Gage, in case you're worried about Gage, we had a talk about, hey, I'm in this house, it's right on the coastline. Am I safe here? And so you got to realize this was a house that was built in 2017. These houses are built to withstand Category 3 type winds. And there's some, depending on how much money you want to spend, you can get it to withstand a 4 or even a 5. It gets a lot more expensive to do that. So most people, they build their homes to withstand a Category 3 storm, the winds. And this one is a nice home, and it's going to be able to do that. And you're seeing Category 1 winds. And I was saying at the worst you get 2s. And so you're in a good spot. It's an uneasy feeling, though, when you're in a house that's built to move and give a little bit, and it's moving.
And it is, and it's moving. My question for you,
it's
Anthony.
It's like you're on a boat.
That's exactly what it looks like. Or is this going to move on fairly quickly? So, you know, once they do hit the eye, is it going to move through where it's not stalling, it's not taking a while?
There's no pressure, there's no worry that it's going to stall. It's moving at 10 miles per hour, so that's not terribly strong. If you're a runner, it's really fast. If you're a car, that's slow. Yeah. If you're a hurricane, that's a pretty good speed. And so you don't want a storm that's moving 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 miles per hour, because then it's just painstaking and it just really prolongs the fear. A 10-mile-per-hour storm is a pretty good clip for a hurricane. And so it's moving in. By the time he gets to about probably 4 o'clock in the morning, he's on the other side of that, and then the wind's calm. And then you really you watch and see, how does the storm surge do? So the winds are calm, and then you look at what's going on around you after that.
Okay. All right, Gage, we appreciate you, and we are thinking of you, and I know, you know, you guys are going to do everything to be safe out there. Keep us posted, and we're going to check back in with you again soon. Gage, thank you again. All right, we